Hello everyone, I am Zerg Sword Sentinel, and welcome to the Hunt for the Mask of Life. Behold, Voya Nui, where the powerful Mask of Life is hidden. 3 hopeful adventurers and cutthroats gathered their forces in an attempt to find it and win glory for themselves. But simply finding the mask does not guarantee victory. To truly win, you must also have more gold than your opponents, a daunting task indeed. The Lord Sentinel's fleet was made of Spanish and pirates, who hoped to complement one another. La Monarca with a helmsman and explorer, El San Francisco with a helmsman and explorer, El Cruzado with Luis Zuan, Captain Alrico Castro, Joaquin Vega, Nemesio Diaz, a helmsman, and Duke Marcus Vacado. Neptune's Horde with Captain Jack Sparrow, Jonah, Derek the Red, a helmsman, oarsman, and explorer. The Grand Barnacle with Powdered Pete, Gentleman Jacquard, Jenny Gallows, a helmsman, and 3 oarsmen. And the Longshanks with an explorer. The Lord Sentinel's fleet looks solid on paper, but would it hold up against the competition, which included custom ships and crew? The fleet of J.W. Darkhurst looked to provide stiff competition. The San Cristobal with Victor de Alva, Contessa Anita Amor, Almirante Devante del Nero from Barbary Coast, helmsman and firepot specialist. The Enterprise with Jonathan Harridan, Diamond Nelson Turner, Chief Poe Charles Richard, and a helmsman. The Cursed Blade with an explorer, La Santa Ana with an explorer, The Frontier, and Destiny's Bounty from Return of Davy Jones with an explorer. Indeed, it would be difficult to overcome the 2 very good gunships that Darkhurst was fielding, but his gold ships looked to be on the slower side. Perhaps the greatest threat to the Lord Sentinel would be the Ginger Ninja, who had brought 3 custom ships to the field. The HMS Benjamin, the Ironsides with a captain, helmsman, and firepot specialist, the Phantom with linked crew Captain Shamshir, a helmsman, and 2 explorers, the Demon Gate with Barst, the Lady Provost with First Mate Ismail, and La Santa Isabel with Dominic Freda. The Phantom was a fierce ship, but on the smaller side compared to the gunships of the Lord Sentinel and Darkhurst. Barst, however, would give him guaranteed extra actions, something that neither the Lord Sentinel or Darkhurst had. The map. Voya Nui lays in the distance, with 3 small islands in line with the arms that formed Voya Nui Bay. These small islands had some gold on them, but strange and unique treasures hide among the glittering gold. Getting to Voya Nui would be no easy task, for in addition to the strong competition, a myriad of reefs, sargasso, and ice blocked the way. Even though Voya Nui Bay was large, reefs blocked off much of it, except for a small break that would allow 1 or 2 ships to sail through side by side. J.W. Darkhurst rolled to go first and did so, moving most of his ships straight up the middle, directly west, with the Cristobal and Enterprise blazing the trail. The Ginger Ninja went next, and used Barst to land the Isabel at the first guide island. Rats foiled some of the Ginger Ninja's plans, but he was content with the gold he had found. The rest of his fleet kept a northward course, staying away from the numerous ships of Darkhurst's fleet. The fleet of the Lord Sentinel kept mostly together, with the Cruzado moving northward toward the opposing fleets, while the Horde, Monarca, Longshanks, and Francisco stayed together and moved westward. Voya Nui beckoned like a temptress, with vast fortunes waiting to be found. Getting to the gold would be difficult, however, as there was only 1 beach inside the bay. Not even a hoist could brave the rocky coastline. Since the island was so large, no ship could hope to explore all of it at once. When a ship would make landfall, a D6 would be rolled, determining the coins that would be explored, with the hopes of finding the Mask of Life. The Ginger Ninja weighs his options, with the Benjamin staying home to Gold Factory with the Isabel, so as to get the maximum value out of her gold. The Cristobal and Enterprise keep an eye on the distant Phantom, not trusting the Cursed 1 bit. The San Francisco makes land, and takes the most valuable coins, leaving a screw engine behind. The Horde, Monarca, Longshanks, and Cruzado all continue west. Finally realizing the Lord Sentinel's plan, Darkhurst turns the crystal ball around, with intent to sink the Neptune's hoard. The Enterprise, meanwhile, continues on, entering Voyonui Bay. Using an extra action, the crystal ball navigates around the terrain to bring 3 of her cannons into range of the Horde. Alas! Even with a cannon bonus, the crystal ball misses all of her shots. The Ginger Ninja's ships string out. Destination? Voyonui. Back home, the Isabel and Benjamin are slowly unloading the gold that Isabel found with the rats. The Neptune's horde docks at the Guide Island, and looses a full barrage on the crystal ball, missing only once to bring the crystal ball down to 2 masts. The horde then explored the island, and sent a coin back to the Grand Barnacle, who moved and unloaded it with a +3 gold bonus. The Lord Sentinel spared the crystal ball, and only dismasted it with the Accorzado. With the fall of one of his prize gunships, Darkhurst ordered the Enterprise around, and she complied, maneuvering to leave Voyonui Bay. The Phantom made land, and used one of her explorers to take a peek at the coins hidden on the island. A message in a bottle sent her back across the map to the island the Isabel had explored, a minor inconvenience for the Ginger Ninja. The Monarca has explored the island on the left, and is looking to the Longshanks and Accorzado for protection, as the Enterprise looms on the horizon. The Francisco unloads her haul of gold, and heads back for more. Everyone is converging at Voyonui, with the Enterprise guarding the only way in or out of the bay. Or so it would seem. With an extra action, the Enterprise comes broadside to the Accorzado, and manages to take 3 masts off of the mighty warship, and dismasts La Monarca as well. Provost scoops up the rest of the gold that the Phantom had discovered, while the formidable Ironsides continued on, heading toward Voyonui. Speaking of the Phantom, she brought home her 1 coin that she managed to snag before the message in a bottle removed her. Here she observes the Isabel and Benjamin as they gold factory the Isabel's gold. Disaster struck the fleet of J.W. Darkhurst, as the Longshanks and Accorzado teamed up to dismast the Enterprise. Meanwhile, the Neptune's horde is busy sending coins back to the Grand Barnacle, with Jack Sparrow throwing crew onto the island instead of sacking them. For now. The rest of Darkhurst's fleet moved on in dismay, with the Santa Ana exploring a guide island and the rest of his ships making their way toward the bay. The Frontier and Curseblade are not far behind the Provost. Who will get to the beach first? Who will find the mask first? With a masterstroke, the Lord Sentinel turned around the situation for his fleet, with the Accorzado taking the Monarca under tow and docking at the recently explored island. The Longshanks moved forward and captured the Enterprise, giving the Lord Sentinel 2 Chancellors in his fleet. To cap things off, El Castillo de Infanta was built at the end of his turn, giving the Accorzado and Monarca a place to repair. The Santa Ana used a homing beacon to zip home and unload her haul of gold, a piece of good news for Darkhurst. The Provost reaches the beach first, but lacks an explorer crew to look for the mask. The Frontier is not far behind, and is able to use her hoist to dock and explore. A mixed bag is found at stack number 6, with Celestine's charts, Enemy of the State, English Royal Decree, and shipping charts being uncovered. The rest of Darkhurst's fleet moved into the bay, eager to explore. The Accorzado explored Castillo's Island, and found the trees that the crew of the Monarca had told them about. With the trees, the Accorzado was instantly repaired back to full strength. The Longshanks tentatively moves toward the opening in the reefs, wary of the many ships and tight space, and hostility to the Lord Sentinel. The Provost explored the number 5 stack and found a mixed bag as well. A martyr's amulet and Barbary banner were found, with Ismail being sent back to the home island by jail. The real kicker, though, was Pandora's box. Darkhurst placed an albatross. The Lord Sentinel placed some fruit, which forced some coins overboard, and the Ginger Ninja placed a pirate codex, which removed all face-up UTs from the game. Given an extra action, the Provost explored again, this time finding a deck cannon, another Barbary banner, a voodoo doll, and the Chariot of the Gods on the 3rd stack. At this point, Voyonui was halfway explored, but the game was far from over. Using the voodoo doll, the Ginger Ninja turned Jack Sparrow face down. The Frontier and Provost make to turn around, while the Cursed Blade and Destiny's Bounty look to dock and explore the beach. The Ironsides has entered the bay, but so far not fired on anyone. Yet. With the rats now gone, the Isabel docks home and the Benjamin loads Ismail, and makes full sail toward Voyonui. Most of the ships are in or around Voyonui Bay. So far no shots have been fired, but how long will the peace last? Not long at all, as the Corsado moves to blockade the bay with the Neptune's horde, trapping many gold runners inside. The Longshanks enters the bay and looks to explore the beach as well. The Grand Barnacle recovers the crew sent to the horde so that they may be used again, while the Francisco comes to take the few coins left there. The Santa Ana sails toward the hulk of the Cristobal, with intent to bring her back to the home island and be repaired. The Frontier barges into the Longshanks and eliminates a mast. Darkhurst is taking his frustration out in any way he can, and the Longshanks is the perfect target. The Destiny's Bounty explores and finds, among other things, the maps of Alexandria, turning all gold face up on Voyonui. The Phantom enters the bay by sacking one of her explorers, and looks to make land near the Bounty. Seeing an opportunity, Derek the Red sacks the Horde's oarsman and zooms across the ocean to cross the bow of the Lady Provost and sink her in one fell swoop. Deciding to use the treasure split rule, the Lord Sentinel netted 4 coins from the sinking of the Provost. The Longshanks moves on and can almost dock at the beach, but is just short. The crew of the Bounty look over the gunwale and eye the Longshanks. Meanwhile, the Monarcha entered the bay and skirts around the Frontier and the iceberg. The Santa Ana takes the Cristobal under tow. The ship is saved, but the Santa Ana does not have a helmsman, and the journey home is a long one. The cannons of the Destiny's Bounty flare to life, but only manage to take one mast off of the Longshanks. Darkhurst seethes with rage and frustration. The Phantom finally found a place to dock and found some powerful UTEs. Cross of Coronado, Nemo's Plans, Davy Jones' Heart, and the Heart of Stone. The Longshanks docks and explores, and finds the Mask of Life. The Lord Sentinel is overjoyed, but the Longshanks is barely sailing, and help is far away. Will she survive to the start of her next turn? The Monarcha desperately tries to block the Destiny's Bounty, and the Corsado enters the bay, desperate to keep the Longshanks safe. It was not enough. The Bounty fires her cannons again, and all hit true, sinking the Longshanks and sending the Mask of Life back to land, but this time it was known where on the island it went. The Santa Ana makes slow progress with the Cristobal, while almost every other ship converges on Voyonui. The Monarcha docks and explores, but does not find the mask. The Corsado does not engage, yet, feeling there are too many ships to engage single-handedly. The Neptune's horde sacks back across the ocean and is about to dock at Castillo, where the Francisco has arrived. With the Corsado inside and not out, blocking the way, the Cursed Blade braves a reef, with no harm coming to her. The Corsado moves forward with Castro's same action twice, and docks at the island as well, taking off all but one mast on the Bounty, and shielding the Monarcha in the process. The Ironsides had exited the bay and was lingering. Suddenly she swooped south, broadside of the Neptune's horde. Her cannons were primed, but the captured Enterprise cancelled her captain. Frustrated, she sailed forward with an extra action, with her bow resting on a reef, which did her no harm. Then the Ginger Ninja announced he would be building the cursed fort Aguinvari Gakali on the reef that was connected to Castillo's island. The Frontier turned about and made ready to leave, opening the door for the Bounty to suicide against the Corsado. The cannons of the Horde in Castillo brought Aguinvari down to one flag. Then the Horde sacked and the Enterprise cancelled the ironclad keyword of the Ironsides, opening the door for the Horde to take her out of the game. However, the Horde missed a critical cannon shot and failed to. In a stunning move, the Phantom squeezed into the space between the Corsado and the Bounty, managing to get all of her cannons in range and opened fire. With ramming, she managed to take out 2 masts on the Corsado and won the ensuing boarding party, capturing all of the Corsado's crew. To make matters worse for the Lord Sentinel, the Ironsides captured the Enterprise and used it to cancel Derek the Red on the Horde, but like the Horde earlier, she missed her cannon shots. Meanwhile, Aguinvari has been cleared away from the reef by Castillo. Speaking of the Francisco, she moved forward and rammed into the Ironsides, eliminating a mast. Back in the bay, the Monarcha tried to find the mask but failed, while the Corsado took a punishing blow from the Phantom, who still had Nemo's plans on the Cross of Coronado on board, in addition to the captured Joaquin Vega. Back at Castillo, the Francisco is given a fire mast by the Ironsides, while the Horde tries but fails to light her last mast with cannons. Back in the bay, the Monarca fails again to find the mask, but the Cruzado is given an explore action and finds the mask. Will she survive, however? The Horde resorts to ramming to silence the Ironsides and potentially capture. The Phantom rolled to get Castro's SAM action twice, but the Cruzado flipped Runes of Loki to force the die roll to a 1. However, it would not be enough, as the Phantom had captured the re-rolling Vaccaro in addition to the other crew on the Cruzado, and used him to re-roll the forced 1 and got the SAT anyway. The Phantom then sank the Cruzado and the Monarca in short order, which returned the mask. The Phantom used an extra action to move out of the bay and go 4 for 4 to sink the Neptune's Horde. However, the guns of Castillo boomed, and the fort went an incredible 5 for 5 to sink the Phantom. The Heart of Stone saved her, however, and she merely reappeared at Ginger Ninja's home island. The Grand Barnacle sails out to assist the Francisco. If the Enterprise and Ironsides can be repaired in time, then it might be possible to stand up to the Phantom. The Benjamin and Santa Isabel take turns exploring the island, looking for the mask, but so far not finding it. The Enterprise repairs quickly with the aid of her built-in extra, as does the Ironsides, while the Francisco puts out her fire. The Cristobal is fully repaired, but so is the Phantom, and both ships are rapidly converging on Voyanui Bay. The Grand Barnacle made a move toward the bay to contest with the Benjamin and Isabel. However, the Phantom cut her off, literally, taking her down to 1 mast and capturing all of her crew. The Phantom then sacked and sank the Barnacle. The Francisco warily sails out from Castillo, while the Ironsides and Enterprise are almost done repairing. The Phantom enters the bay to protect the Isabel and Benjamin, who has found the Mask of Life. Deciding to try and trap them in the bay, the Enterprise and Ironsides move to block it off, but the Phantom sacks and zooms out, taking the Enterprise to 2 masts, and winning the board to capture all of her crew as well. The Cristobal weighs in, dismasting the Francisco and taking a mast off of the Enterprise. In the background, the Benjamin is making her way toward home with the mask, which has already killed First Mate Ismail. The Enterprise succeeded at her extra action and managed to take off most of the Phantom's masts. However, the Phantom responds by sinking the Enterprise. Using her L-range cannons and some good fortune, the Cristobal sank the Phantom, but it reappeared at its home island again. It was now that we realized the Heart of Stone should not still have been on the Phantom, along with all of the other UTs, since Eterna would only save crew, not treasure. Phantom removed as a threat, the way seemed clear to try and overtake the Benjamin, but with Barst she gained a significant lead over the Ironsides and Cristobal. Or so it seemed. With an extra action, the Cristobal used her frightening speed to maneuver around the terrain and get the first 3 cannons in on the Benjamin. Would it be enough? The Phantom repaired quickly and sailed out to meet the Cristobal, taking 2 of her masts off, but losing the board. Despite losing the board, the Benjamin was able to dock home, unloading the Mask of Life and ending the game. However, the Ginger Ninja was not assured victory, since he also needed to have more gold than the Lord Sentinel and J.W. Darkhurst. With much anticipation, the gold was counted. And the Lord Sentinel emerged victorious, with 97 gold to his name. The Ginger Ninja came second, with 69 gold, and Darkhurst brought up the rear with 64 gold. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. If you want to see what I do next, make sure you're subscribed. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.